Surviving a heart attack when you're alone. 7 life-saving steps everyone should know. Imagine this. You're at home, maybe sipping your morning tea or reading the paper. The sun is warm through the window. Everything feels ordinary. Then it hits. A strange pressure in your chest. A wave of dizziness. Your breath feels shorter. Your hands start to sweat. You realize something is very, very wrong. You reach for your phone, but there's no one else there. No family in the next room, no neighbor dropping by, no one to see what's happening. It's just you, your beating heart, and the clock ticking down. In that moment, you have less than 10 minutes to take action, and the first 2 minutes are the most critical of all. What you do or don't do in those moments will decide whether you make it to tomorrow. And here's the hard truth. Heart attacks don't always come like they do in movies. They don't always knock you to the ground in an instant. Often, they arrive quietly, almost politely, until it's nearly too late. That's why today on Echoes of Elderly Wisdom, we're going to walk through 7 simple but life-saving actions you must take when a heart attack strikes, especially if you are completely alone. No medical degree required, no fancy tools, just clear steps, a calm mind, and a little preparation. The kind of wisdom that can carry you through life's most unexpected storms. And before we begin, remember this. The knowledge you gain today might not just save your life. It could save the life of someone you love. Step 1. Recognizing the earliest warning signs. We've all seen the dramatic version in movies. Someone laughing at a dinner table, suddenly clutching their chest, eyes wide and collapsing to the floor in seconds. It's intense, cinematic, and misleading. Real heart attacks are often quieter. They don't always start with drama. Sometimes they tiptoe in like an uninvited guest, barely knocking before they cross the threshold of your life. And here's the problem. Because the warning signs are sometimes gentle at first, many people ignore them until it's too late. The subtle whispers of a heart attack. Instead of a sudden, stabbing pain, you might notice a heavy pressure in the center of your chest. Not sharp, but more like someone is leaning on you from the inside. A squeezing sensation, as though your chest is wrapped in a tightening band. Discomfort that radiates, moving from the chest into your arm, shoulder, neck, jaw, or even the upper back. Shortness of breath, even while sitting still, as if your lungs have suddenly shrunk. Lightheadedness or dizziness. A strange floating feeling, sometimes followed by sudden sweating. Nausea or indigestion-like discomfort, especially in women and older adults, where it's often mistaken for stomach trouble. Unusual fatigue, the kind that makes everyday tasks feel like climbing a mountain. And sometimes it's not pain at all. Just a vague, unnerving sense that something inside isn't right. Why we miss the signs. Our human tendency is to explain away symptoms. It's just heartburn. I've been stressed lately. I probably slept wrong on my arm. But the heart is like a wise old friend. It doesn't send urgent signals without a reason. When the blood flow to the heart muscle is blocked, even partially, it starts sending out alarms. At first, those alarms are polite, but if ignored, they become sirens. A true story, Richard's wake-up call. Richard, age 74, was having a peaceful morning, reading the paper at his kitchen table. Out of nowhere, a dull tightness appeared just below his collarbone. At first, he thought it was indigestion from last night's dinner. But as he tried to take a deep breath, he realized he couldn't fill his lungs completely. A thin film of sweat formed on his forehead. Richard could have shrugged it off. Many do. But he remembered an article he had read years earlier. That heart attacks don't always start with crushing chest pain. Sometimes they start just like this. Instead of ignoring it, he called emergency services immediately. Hours later, doctors told him, if you had waited even 20 more minutes, this could have been fatal. Wisdom to carry with you. The body whispers before it screams. If you teach yourself to recognize those whispers and act on them without hesitation, you give yourself the best chance to survive. Think of it like this. When a small fire starts in your home, you don't wait for it to spread before reaching for the extinguisher. You act fast because small problems are easier to solve than raging ones. Your heart is no different. Learn its language. Respect its warnings. And never wait for it to get bad enough before doing something about it. Step 2. Call emergency services immediately. The moment your mind whispers, "This could be a heart attack," you have one priority and one only. Get trained help on the way. That means calling 911 in the US, 999 in the UK, 112 in most of Europe, or whatever your local emergency number is, and you need to do it without bargaining with yourself. Here's what not to do. Don't wait to see if it passes. Don't get in your car to drive yourself. Don't call your neighbor, your spouse, or your child before calling emergency services. Why? Because every second counts. And when you dial that number, you aren't just talking to a dispatcher. You're activating an invisible chain of lifesavers. Paramedics drop what they're doing and head straight toward you. They bring oxygen to feed your struggling heart. They carry medications that can break apart clots before they kill heart muscle. They bring a defibrillator that can shock your heart back into rhythm if it suddenly stops. And here's something many don't realize. Calling early changes your odds, even before they arrive. Dispatchers can talk you through what to do minute by minute. They can help you stay calm, help you breathe, and guide you through symptoms until the ambulance pulls up. Linda, 78, told me about her own scare. She felt a dull ache in her shoulder, nausea rolling in her stomach, and sweat beading on her forehead. She thought about calling her son, but then she remembered her nurse's advice. Call 911 first. Talk to your family later. Because she made that choice, paramedics were beside her within minutes, starting treatment on her living room floor before she ever saw the inside of a hospital. Doctors later told her the speed of that decision likely saved her heart and her life. Here's the truth. When your heart is in crisis, it doesn't need company, it needs expertise. First call for help, then call your loved ones. Wisdom. The greatest gift you can give your family in that moment is being alive when they arrive. Step 3. Chew an aspirin. Slowly and calmly. If you are not allergic and you are not already on certain blood thinners, one small action can help tip the odds in your favor. Chew one regular aspirin, about 325 milligrams, the moment you suspect a heart attack. Why chew? Because swallowing whole takes time. Your stomach has to break it down first, but chewing releases the medicine right away, letting it enter your bloodstream faster, often in just minutes. And when a clot is forming in the arteries of your heart, minutes are everything. Aspirin works by thinning the blood and preventing the clot from getting bigger. It doesn't dissolve the blockage completely. Only doctors can do that, but it can slow the damage while help is on the way. Joe, 72, knows this well. He was reading in his recliner when a pressure began spreading from his chest toward his neck. He remembered an old health talk he'd attended. Chew, don't swallow if you think it's your heart. He reached for the aspirin in his kitchen drawer, bit down slowly, and kept it in his mouth for a moment before swallowing. Hours later in the hospital, his cardiologist told him that simple act may have reduced the damage to his heart muscle. A small pill, a huge difference. Wisdom. Sometimes preparation is simply making sure the tools you need are within reach. Keep a aspirin where you can find it in seconds. In your nightstand, your kitchen, your purse, or even taped inside your wallet. You'll never regret being ready. Step 4. Sit or lie down to protect your heart. Once you've made that crucial call for help and taken your aspirin, the next step might seem almost too simple to matter. But it is, without question, one of the most important actions you can take. Stop moving. Imagine your heart as an engine, already struggling, like a car running low on oil and overheating. It's working hard just to keep you alive. Every extra step, every small movement demands more oxygen, more fuel, from an engine that can barely cope with what it already needs. That oxygen, critical, life-giving, is in short supply. By moving even something as small as standing or pacing across a room, you force your heart to work harder, deepening the crisis. This is why resting is not a passive act. It is a profound and powerful defense. It gives your heart the precious moments it desperately needs to slow down and conserve energy. to keep as much oxygen flowing to your vital organs as possible while you wait for help to arrive. How to find safety and stillness. Sit down immediately with your back supported, feet flat on the floor, and arms resting loosely on your lap or armrests. If at any point you feel faint, dizzy, or weak, lie down carefully on your side. Elevate your head slightly with a pillow or folded blanket, so breathing is easier and you avoid the risk of choking if nausea strikes. Stillness can feel unnatural in an emergency. Your mind races with, what can I do? What should I do next? But here, in this moment, the most powerful thing you can do is to do nothing at all, except to rest and breathe. Alice's story brings this home. Alice was 81, preparing her morning tea when she felt a dull pressure pressing on her chest. Her instinct was to tidy up, to fix things, to maintain control, to prepare for the ambulance's arrival. This reaction is common. Our minds crave normalcy when faced with chaos. But something held her back, a memory of her doctor's advice. If you think it's your heart, sit down. Everything else can wait. By obeying this wisdom, Alice gave her heart a fighting chance. That stillness likely stopped her symptoms from escalating into full cardiac arrest before paramedics arrived at her door. The deeper truth here, in emergencies, our impulse is to act, to move, to fix, to control. But sometimes the greatest strength is found in surrender. In letting go of our frantic need to do something, we grant our body the space it needs to survive. Stillness is not weakness. It is a form of power. It is an act of respect for the fragile balance your heart is struggling to maintain. And it can mean the difference between life and death. So when the unthinkable strikes, remember this. Sit down, rest, breathe. Let your heart slow down, conserve its strength, and wait patiently for help to arrive. Everything else, everything can wait. Step 5. Unlock your door for emergency responders. At first glance, unlocking your front door might seem like a small, almost trivial step, something barely worth mentioning in the face of a heart attack. But in reality, this simple act can be a life-saving bridge between you and the care you urgently need. When you call emergency services, you set in motion a race against time. Paramedics are rushing toward you with equipment, skills, and hope. But their mission can be delayed by something as seemingly mundane as a locked door. Think about this carefully. If the door is locked and you cannot open it, emergency responders have no choice but to break it down. They will do it because every second matters. But that breaking in takes precious moments. It's not a silent, effortless entry. It requires force, noise, and sometimes tools that could injure you if you are near the door. Every second spent breaking down a door is a second not spent giving you oxygen, CPR, or critical medications. It's a second when your heart may stop, your brain may go without oxygen, and your chances of survival diminish. Paul's story illustrates this perfectly. Paul, 76, experienced chest pain one afternoon. After calling 911, he made the conscious effort to unlock his condo door before sitting down to rest. Paramedics told him afterward that this simple action saved them about 30 seconds, half a minute that may sound insignificant, but in reality was priceless. In the world of emergency medicine, 30 seconds can be the razor-thin line between full recovery and irreversible brain damage, or even death. The brain can survive only minutes without oxygen before damage occurs. That's why paramedics race against every tick of the clock, and why you must do the same. Planning ahead is your secret weapon. If you live alone or have mobility challenges, don't leave this step to chance. Think proactively about how emergency responders will get to you if you cannot open the door yourself. Install a smart lock or keypad that can be opened without a physical key. This technology allows you or responders to unlock the door quickly, even if your hands are weak or if you are unconscious. Consider a medical lockbox near your entrance that holds a spare key. Trusted emergency responders know to look for these boxes, which are designed specifically to speed entry while keeping your home secure. Give a trusted neighbor or nearby family member access to your home or key. Let them know about your heart health concerns so they're ready to assist if you can't answer the door. The deeper wisdom, big moments, those life or death events, are often decided by small, quiet preparations we make long before the crisis arrives. This step, unlocking your door, is not just a convenience. It is an act of foresight, courage, and care for your own life. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest gestures, taken in calm and clarity, can create the largest ripples of survival and hope. So when your heart is in danger and every heartbeat counts, unlock that door. Make it easy for help to find you. Because in emergencies, time saved at the threshold could be the time that saves your life. Step 6. Use your phone's speaker and medical ID features. Once you're connected to emergency services, switch your phone to speaker mode. That frees your hands and lets you keep your movements to a minimum, reducing strain on your heart. And here's another often overlooked step. Make sure your phone's medical ID is set up. On most smartphones, this can be accessed even from the lock screen. It should include your name and age, medical conditions you live with, medications you take, allergies, emergency contacts. Susan, 79, collapsed before paramedics arrived. But because she had set up her phone's medical ID, responders were able to immediately pull up her allergies and avoid a medication that could have harmed her. They also contacted her daughter within minutes, before she even reached the hospital. Technology is only powerful if you prepare it before you need it. Wisdom. The future belongs to the prepared. Even small digital steps can protect your life. Step 7. Slow your breathing to steady your heart. A heart attack is terrifying. Panic is natural, but panic speeds up your heart. And in this moment, that is the last thing you want. You still have one tool left, your breath. Here's how to use it. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold that breath gently for 1 second. Exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds, letting your shoulders drop. Repeat this cycle. Imagine each breath as a calming wave moving through your body. This kind of controlled breathing helps quiet your nervous system and can sometimes prevent dangerous rhythms in the heart caused by stress. Frank, 83, once told me this exercise was the only thing keeping him from drowning in fear as he waited for the ambulance. He pictured each exhale as a way of telling his heart, "I'm here, I'm steady, you're not alone." Wisdom. Even in chaos, there is a place of stillness you can reach, and your breath is the bridge that takes you there. Conclusion. As we've seen today, surviving a heart attack, especially when you're alone, is not about complicated medicine or heroic strength. It's about simple, deliberate actions taken calmly and quickly. From recognizing the earliest signs, calling for help immediately, to unlocking your door for responders, every step matters. These moments reveal a deeper truth echoed through the wisdom of our elders. Preparation, mindfulness, and small acts of care can make the difference between life and loss. If you found this guide meaningful, if you want to keep learning how to protect yourself and your loved ones with practical wisdom rooted in experience, please subscribe to Echoes of Elderly Wisdom. Join our community where respect for life's lessons meets real-world action. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and be ready for more vital knowledge that can save lives. Not just yours, but those around you. Thank you for watching. Take care, stay prepared, and remember, sometimes the smallest steps echo the loudest in the story of survival.